Welcome to Hometown Happenings. I'm here with Detroit Lake School Superintendent Doug Froke, and we are right around the corner of a week away from a vote, a referendum vote.
Referendum vote, that's exactly right. Wednesday or Tuesday, May 17th.
Okay, and we'll talk more about the polling places, but up for a vote is one question on the ballot, and folks are going to vote on whether to build a 730 student middle school and renovate existing facilities. And what is this all about? I know we've talked before about this, but for folks just tuning in, and since it's just a week away, one last push.
One last push is right, Carol. You know, we've been talking about our issues for over 3 years now. Quite honestly, probably moving closer to 5 by the time you start taking a look at the analytics of it all. But you take a look at the fact that we are out of space. We're crowded everywhere, and then you take a look at the fact that our buildings are getting older. There are some spots that need some maintenance that the maintenance need is so great that we just can't handle it in our year-to-year annual budget capital outlay projects. And then third, just the way that our kids learn. Technology has changed the world, and so we need to adapt physically to the way kids learn. And it isn't rote anymore. It isn't lined up in desks of rows of 5 anymore, and those kinds of things. So that's the aim, and we're trying to resolve the issue by, as you indicated, Carol, the 750-seat middle school, heavy renovation to the high school, and then some existing changes and renovations at the existing middle school.
Okay, and we actually fortunately had a chance to take a tour of the high school recently with the principal Darren Wolf. So we're going to see a little bit of that tour next.
The first thing we wanted to look at on the tour was the fact that this is our commons. You can see today is a pretty regular day. We have students sitting in the commons. We've got several spaces. One of the things we notice on a cold day where a lot of our students don't go, you can even see we have some students who choose to sit on we don't have enough seating for everybody here in the commons on most days. Now that it's getting nice, we have a lot more kids going out in the community having dinner. But that's one of the things we're really looking to have as we expand the commons, is one of the first big pieces. Having meeting spaces, having spaces for kids to talk to each other, work on homework, things like that. One of the other things that I always want to point out to people is the fact that we have to have teachers sit here daily, every hour, to monitor the doors. We don't have a secure entrance like some of the other schools do right now, and that's one of the things we're really needing, is that security and safety. So teachers sit here, ask people to sign in, and that's part of our daily routine that we have to do. This is our music area, and again, this is another one of those places that kind of gets used to have lunch every day. One of the things, it's easier if there's places for kids to congregate, and so they find places if we don't have them. One of the things we wanted to do in the last levy vote was to expand our music area by putting in an auditorium, and well, obviously we still need those kinds of things here with storage and that being at a premium. You can see we've got stuff stacked around in here, but basically what happens is this area won't get touched now, other than just maintenance kinds of things in the future. So down this hallway will be where the new gymnasium would be located. And part of the thing that's always difficult when you're doing a new building plan is you want to know how everything's going to tie together, and that part of that process comes through once the levy passes and we meet with the architects and we get more detailed. But our hope is that we can somehow tie some of our spaces together down here with our fitness areas and our weight room and those kinds of things. But kind of right out this direction would be that. And as you look inside our fitness gym, this is where most of our fitness classes take place. And this gym is, the reason for the new gym is to be able to have another space where we can have competitions. This gym is too small really for large basketball games or Even have a volleyball game going on in here at the same time as the basketball team is playing, or to have junior varsity and varsity happening, boys and girls, whatever. We're really limited here because we only have the one gym. This gym predominantly gets used for our special ed gym classes and for our fitness classes, and you'll see when you look at our fitness room, we certainly need more space there as well.
And with most of the sporting events, when people's parents come in, there's not enough room in the risers, so people always have to stand by the doors and stuff to watch and out in the hall.
And as you can see, when you look at, we don't have enough space in here for an entire class, so a teacher will have to divide up students and send a few in here. But this really isn't designed for 30 kids in a classroom to actually participate in a fitness class in here. So part of the overflow. So again, part of what we're hoping is there'll be some way to connect this area and our weight room next door to the new gymnasium space. So this space at times can have, we don't have enough space for the sports that we currently have. They have to kind of rotate through this area and kind of sign up and take turns using it. But it's this is a pretty small space for a school this size. We have to store things, again, because storage is at a premium. So we use our hallways to store things. So we've got, fitness equipment here. One of the other things you'll notice is hey there, this is our trainer's room. And as you can see, when you have the number of students involved in athletics like we do, a 2-station training room is probably not big enough. I know most nights when there's practices going on or games, this place is packed. Students are standing in the hallway waiting.
You can come in after practice and there'll be 8 kids in one ice bath just trying to get into ice and stuff like that. So
here's another example of our gym classes. This is a lot of fitness stuff. We don't have any storage for any of this, so it has to sit out here in the middle of a hallway, kind of pushed off to the side. And because we don't have an auditorium here, this is our stage, which we use for things like graduation or guest speakers, those kinds of things. So again, they have to sit here in the hallway because there's no place really to keep them. Hurdles, standards for volleyball. This whole area is our agriculture, industrial tech, art, and woods area. And this is one of the big areas that we hope to do quite a bit of renovation. The building itself will stay where it is, but we want to be able to open up these spaces and kind of create a new flow in here, consolidate some of the lab space that we have so we have more functionality back here, and really so we can develop courses and classes and spaces that will help our students, get ready for the future. So if you want to take a look with us, we'll kind of look in and see most of these, this part of the building has been, back in the 90s was redone, but as you can see, not much has been touched since then. This is right now being used as our welding area and our manufacturing area. You can see the smoker that the students created here. This is our computer lab, where students work on graphic design and science. And we're really lucky. We've had generous donations from companies like Team Industries and Lake Shirts for some of our printers and some of those kinds of things.
And in here, this is our art room.
You can see we have kind of your general workstations for students. One of the things that's really kind of interesting is the way our art area is set up. It's in 3 different spaces. So this is the actual art classroom, but then to work on the clay wheel, that's across the hall in a closet, and then our kiln is down in the kiln room, which is way in the wood shop. So all of our clay storage, and again, storage is an issue everywhere in our building, but clay storage and the potter's wheels are in here. And then the kind of the most interesting piece of this is our kiln was located back here. And so you can see our kiln back in the corner. But right in front of it is our brand new CNC lathe donated by Team Industries. And one of the challenges we've been having is when we first had this in here, our kiln wasn't being used very much, but the demand of the students and the teacher has gone to a point where we can't run both the CNC machine and the kiln at the same time. So we're going to be moving the kiln this summer to try to find a better location for it in an office area over here. This is the Ag Lab area. And as you can see, again, this is an area that really hasn't been touched much, since 1990. Again, our teachers and our students are doing great things back here, but we're limited in, what we can do by the equipment we have. One of our hopes is that as we look at, when the bond passes, then we are going to meet with some of our partners here in the community, companies that will help us make sure we have the right kind of equipment so our students are industry ready when they leave us. This back here is our small engines lab. And again, you can see that we're making do. Good things happen back here, but again, we're kind of out of storage and out of space. So this is our foods lab, and as you can see, we don't have a ton of space.
We have a pretty small class.
We have a pretty small class this hour, but we have classes of close to 30, and you can see by the number of stations that we have, it's difficult to get more than 3 or 4 kids in these areas working at the same time.
Yeah, usually my foods classes have 5 or 6.
Yeah, most of the foods classes have 5 to 6 kids in them. And again, part of our hope is this whole area would be revamped with the new bond. This is a conference room / storage room that we've turned into a pseudo help classroom for one of our math teachers, and so he sets up in here because he doesn't have his own classroom and tutors students who have questions and tries to help them. Again, mixed with storage, but that's kind of what we've had to do with our spaces. This is one of our classrooms, and because of space issues, we actually have 2 teachers sharing the same classroom. So you can see they have a really great divider here, but it doesn't keep the noise down between the 2 classrooms. This is our chemistry area, and as you notice, again, we're in that same spot where we've got 6 stations, but we have classes of, close to 30 in a lot of the chemistry classes, and so all of a sudden you've got 5 kids at each one of these stations, which they're not as well designed for, but we make it work. Our teachers do what they can with the space and the equipment that we have. Again, this is one of those areas as we look at the bond, we're looking at trying to revamp our science areas to better meet the needs of our students. And this is one of our 9th grade science classes. As you can see, it's pretty packed in here. And you can see all the equipment, so we have both classroom space and lab space all together.
There was times we would do labs that were designed for 1 to 2 people, and there'd be 6 people on one because we just don't have the space for it.
These lab spaces are really designed for about 24 students, and we've got classes, pushing close to 30 here. So, most of our classrooms, our teachers make it work, but we could certainly use more space. So this is the view out the north side of the building, out of the media center, and this will be the location of the proposed classroom addition. The one floor will have anywhere from 6 to 8 classrooms, and then the second floor will be finished with options to expand, into the future as we need more space. And then as you look around our library media center, again, same kind of thing as you've seen across our building. Good space, we make the best use of it, but certainly you can see that It's designed in 1990, and it'd be nice to update some of the furniture and furnishings in here as well. This is the entrance to our special education suite area. One of the things that we're really needing is some updating in this area. It's not designed for some of the transition needs of our students. You know, as you can see, we have, again, lots of different needs for our students where we talk about recreation, you know, they practice shopping, all those kinds of things, and part of this is our space isn't designed for the number of students that are in this area. We also have a small kitchen area for our our students for their transition needs. And as you can see, it's not very big when you consider the number of students that we have accessing this. This is kind of the main classroom area, and again, as you can see, we utilize the space the best that we can, but we're really limited in the amount of space that we have down here. And again, this is another one of those areas of storage. We have a space back there. We have a student every once in a while who needs some time out space so they can come back here and stretch, but we're not really laid out for the kind of space that we really need in our special needs programming.
We want to thank Principal Darren Wolf for the tour. And once again, we'll be back with more Hometown Happenings to talk about the locations and all the details for voting day on May 17th coming up next. Welcome back to Hometown Happenings here with Detroit Lakes School Superintendent Doug Froke. We took a tour of the high school. Some of the logistics for the voting day for the polls will open on May 17th at 7 o'clock.
7 a.m.
Okay, and where do people go to vote?
And we've structured that just for the voters' ease, and that for all intent and purposes, meaning that we've made no changes there as to actually when and where to vote. And again, as you indicated, on Tuesday, May 17th, 7 a.m. they open, and they run all day until 8 p.m. And those poll precinct locations are Trinity Lutheran Church and the Community Alliance Church. And so those have not changed either. So wherever you voted the last time, that would be where you go on Tuesday, May 17th. And of course, naturally, if you're not sure, please call into the district offices here at 218-847-9271, and we can certainly help folks with trying to establish what their voting precinct would be based upon where they live.
Okay, very good. And I know that there's a lot more detailed information if people want to, take a look at the renderings of the different facilities, how they're going to look, the new school. Also check out maybe their tax, how it'll affect them as a taxpayer. You have all that information, a plethora of information on the DL School website.
dlschools.net, very simple to navigate. It's going to pull up that first window, and you're going to see right in front of you the link to take you to that page where we've got everything there that's frequently asked questions, tax impact, renderings, PowerPoint presentations that we've put on. Everything's right there, dlschools.net.
All right, and again, if they missed something, give them a call at the school administration building and they'll get your questions answered. And get out and vote. That's the big thing on May 17th.
That's the big thing. Yep.
All right.
Weigh in on this decision.
All
yes.
right. Superintendent Froke, nice shirt, by the way.
Thanks. We filmed on Day of Caring.
Okay.
This is what you get.
All right. From Detroit Lakes School Administration with Superintendent Doug Froke, I'm Carol McCarthy, Hometown Happenings.